Welcome to Section 5. This is it. You're almost done. If you miss me after this section, just turn on your TV. I'll be there. Now let's finish traffic school. Keep a cushion ahead. It is always important to keep a solid cushion of space between you and the vehicle in front of you. As we learned earlier in the course, rear-end collisions are the most common type of collision. If you rear-end the car in front of you, you are more than likely responsible for the collision. We have gathered the following tips on how to preserve your front space cushion. Don't try to squeeze into a gap that is too small. Leave yourself a big enough space cushion. Watch for vehicles around you. Use your mirrors and turn signals. Turn your head to look quickly to the side before changing lanes. Leave 3 seconds of space between you and the vehicle ahead. Make sure you can stop safely if you must. If you have to cross several lanes, take them one at a time. Filter through traffic slowly. If you stop to wait until all lanes are clear, you will tie up traffic and may cause a collision.
Keep enough space between your car and the car ahead so that you'll have a bigger picture of what lies down the road and steering will be easier. You can travel in the center of the lane instead of hugging one side or the other to let you see. Most rear-end accidents are caused by following too closely. To avoid this, use the 3-second rule. When the vehicle ahead of you passes a certain point, such as a sign, count 1001, 1002, 1003. This takes about 3 seconds. If you pass the same point before you finish counting, you're following too closely. At faster speeds, the distance should be greater. Sometimes you will need more than a 3-second cushion. Give yourself a 4-second or more cushion.
As of September 16, 2014, the 3 Feet for Safety Act law requires motorists to give bicyclists at least 3 feet of passing space when the bicyclist is going in the same direction on a highway. If the motorist cannot do so due to traffic or roadway conditions, then the driver should slow down to a reasonable and prudent speed and not pass until safe to do so. Violation of this law has a $35 fine associated with it. If a collision occurs between these two parties and bodily injury is caused onto the bicyclist, the motorist shall receive a fine of $220. Watch carefully for bicycles before turning.
Keep a space cushion on each side of your car. Don't drive in the blind spot of another driver. The other driver may not see your car and could change lanes and hit you. Avoid driving alongside other cars on multi-lane streets. Someone may crowd your lane or try to change lanes and pull into you. Move ahead of the other car or drop back. Keep as much space as you can between yourself and the oncoming traffic. On multi-lane streets, stay out of the lane next to the center lane if you can. That way you'll have more room to avoid an oncoming car that suddenly swerves towards you. This is very important at intersections where another driver could turn left without giving a signal. If possible, make room for vehicles entering freeways even though you have the right of way. At freeway exits, don't drive alongside other cars. A driver on the freeway may pull off suddenly, or a driver leaving may swerve back on. Keep a space between yourself and parked cars. Someone may step out from between them. Car door may open. A car may start to pull out suddenly. Be careful when driving near bicycles. A bicycle rider could be seriously hurt in an accident. Always leave plenty of room between your car and any bicycle. Watch carefully for bicycles before turning. Let's talk about keeping a cushion behind, and I'm not talking about junk in the trunk. Watch for tailgaters. If one is following you, be careful. Brake slowly before stopping. Tap your brake lightly a few times to warn the tailgater before you slow down. Your brake lights will flash. Lose the tailgater as soon as you can by changing lanes. If you can't change lanes, slow down enough to encourage the tailgater to go around you. If this does not work, pull off the road when it is safe and let the tailgater pass. Here's some more tips. When you're crowded by a tailgater, you should allow extra room between your car and the car ahead. Then, if you need to slow down, you can do so gradually. You'll be able to avoid braking suddenly and being hit from behind by the tailgater. On slippery roads, if the car ahead should slow or stop, you'll need more distance to stop your car. When following motorcycles, if the motorcycle falls, you'll have to avoid hitting the rider. Motorcycles fall more often on wet or icy roads, on metal surfaces such as bridge gratings or railroad tracks, and on gravel. When the driver behind you wants to pass, slow down to allow room in front of your car so the driver will have space to move into. When you're pulling a trailer or carrying a heavy load, the extra weight makes it harder to stop. When following large vehicles that block your view ahead, you need the extra room to see around the vehicle and to the sides. When you're stopped in traffic on a hill, the vehicle ahead may roll back into your car when it starts up. Never assume another driver will share space with you. Leave space to cross or enter. When you cross or enter traffic from a full stop, you're going to need a large enough gap from cars approaching in either direction to get moving from a full stop or to get up to the speed of other vehicles. You need a gap that is about half a block on city streets, about a full block on the highway. When you cross through traffic, you need enough room to get all the way across. Stopping halfway across is only safe when there's a median, the center divider, large enough to hold your car. If you're crossing lanes or turning, make sure there are no cars or people blocking the path ahead of the path or to the side. You don't want to be caught in an intersection with traffic coming at you. That would be bad. Even if you have the green light, don't start to enter the intersection if there are cars blocking your way. It is against the law to enter an intersection unless there's space to get completely across it. You can receive a citation if you block other traffic.
Anti-gridlock law. This law was enacted in 1987 and says a driver shall not enter an intersection or marked crosswalk unless there is sufficient space on the other side of the intersection or marked crosswalk to accommodate the vehicle without obstructing through passage of vehicles from either side. This means a motorist is in violation if he or she pulls forward without room on the other side and subsequently gets stuck in the intersection when the light changes. When this occurs, it adds to the traffic problem because opposing vehicles cannot get through the intersection. Be patient and do not block the intersection. Here are other times when vehicles shall not block intersections. When making a turn at an intersection and the traffic signal light is a steady circular yellow signal or yellow arrow signal. At a railroad or rail transit crossing.
Never assume another driver will share space with you. Don't turn just because an approaching car has a turn signal on. The driver may plan to turn just beyond you. The signal may have been left on from an earlier turn. This is particularly true of motorcycles. Their signal lights don't always turn off by themselves, so wait until the other driver actually starts to turn before you continue. Your hair is going to be windblown after this. Let's talk about highway driving. The freeway and highway systems require certain skills. Speeds are often high, and perception, reaction, and stopping times and distance are often increased. It's best to plan your time of travel to avoid unfamiliar or congested traffic situations. Remember, guide signs are placed to help inform you of upcoming choices, and most indicate distance and route direction. It's best to prepare and be familiar with alternate exits and routes. All right, so we're going to talk about entering a freeway. When entering a freeway from an on-ramp, remember that freeway traffic has the right of way. Always remember to increase your speed to help avoid existing traffic slowing down. Drivers should adjust the timing of their entry to enter without disrupting the flow of traffic. Now, if there are no acceleration lanes available, watch for yield or merge signs. Drivers should accelerate while they are on the on-ramp. Then look over their shoulder, find a sufficiently longer gap in traffic, and accelerate to blend into the traffic.
Drivers should always keep a 4-second following distance between the vehicle and the car ahead of them when traveling high speeds.
Some common mistakes when entering the freeway are driving too slow, of course, which causes the vehicles entering the freeway behind you to be in danger, as well as any cars that are already driving in the slow lane, since they must adjust their speed to compensate for yours. Driving too fast. Now, this will also cause any vehicles driving in the slow lane to change their speed. The proper way to enter onto the freeway is to blend into traffic, simply by matching the speed of the vehicles already on the freeway. Remember, the maximum speed allowed is 65 miles per hour on most freeways. Drivers should watch for vehicles ahead and for congested traffic that can cause sudden stops in traffic. Changing speeds abruptly on the freeway is a frequent cause of accidents.
Merging with traffic. When merging into traffic, extend your normal 3-second space cushion into a 4-second gap between you and the other vehicles. That will give both the driver ahead and the driver behind a 2-second following distance. As a driver, you need a 4-second gap whenever you change lanes, enter a freeway from an entrance lane, or merge with another road. When changing lanes, a driver should watch for other cars around his or her vehicle. A driver should use the vehicle's mirrors and signal at least 5 seconds in advance. The driver should check his or her mirrors, turn his or her head to look quickly to the side before changing lanes while checking for cars in the blind spots. When the driver has determined it is safe to do so, they should slowly ease into the new lane without changing speed and turn off their signal once they have completed the change.
Now, how do you choose lanes of travel? Well, if you block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic by driving too slowly, you might receive a ticket. Sometimes, of course, you may have to go slowly. If you're going slower than other traffic, do not drive in the fast lane. If you are in the left or fast lane, move to the right when another driver is close behind you and wishes to drive faster. If you're driving on a freeway with 3 or more lanes, the middle lanes are used for through traffic, the far left is used for passing, and the far right lane is used for cars exiting and entering the freeway.
When you are driving any of the following vehicles below, you may not drive faster than 55 miles per hour when on a highway: a truck with 3 or more axles, or a truck towing another vehicle, a vehicle towing another vehicle, a school bus transporting any pupil, a farm labor vehicle with passengers, a vehicle transporting explosives, a trailer bus. If on a freeway with 4 or more lanes, you must drive in the 2 right-hand lanes. On a 3 or 2-lane freeway, you may only use the right-hand lane, except to pass another vehicle in the adjacent lane. This applies to the vehicles just mentioned above. Pedal-powered vehicles. This law now defines a pedicab as a 4-wheeled device that is pedal-powered, can seat 8 or more people, cannot exceed 15 miles per hour while traveling, and is being used for transporting passengers for hire. If authorized by local ordinance or resolution, this law also has rules and standards for pedicabs that allow passengers to consume alcohol while on board. There are also requirements related to local authorization, operator qualifications and training, financial responsibility, accident reporting, safety equipment, and inspections. Electrically motorized skateboards. Electronically motorized board, defined according to CHP as a wheel device designed to be stood on and powered by electronic propulsion, will only be permitted on roadways with a speed limit of 35 miles per hour or less and on designated bikeways. The rider of the electronically motorized board must be at least 16 years of age or older and is required to wear a helmet and safety equipment. They also cannot operate them while under the influence of alcohol or any drug. Violation of this law is punishable by a fine of up to $250. Electric bicycles. This law now defines an electric bicycle as a bicycle with fully operable pedals and an electric motor of less than 750 watts. This now creates 3 classes of electric bikes. Electric bike riders will be able to use roads that are similar to other bike riders.
Okay, this is the Kumbaya section. We're going to be talking about helping other drivers enter or exit the freeway. If you see a driver trying to get into the deceleration lane ahead, it's more than likely that he or she is attempting to exit the freeway. Slow down and yield him the right of way by opening up a gap for them to use. Watch for emerging signs. These signs warn drivers that other vehicles are entering the freeway and that they might be traveling at different speeds. If you're in the slow lane and see another vehicle entering the freeway beside you, slow down. Yield him or her the right of way by opening up a gap for them to use. Both of these are considered a common courtesy and will definitely help prevent accidents. All right, let's talk about some special freeway problems. When traveling on a freeway, a driver may lose track of how fast he or she is going. This unconscious state is called velocitation. Be alert and frequently look down at your speedometer to ensure you're traveling at a safe speed. If you're speeding, remember that at high speeds, it takes longer to slow down. Allow time to readjust to slower speeds. A major problem for long, unbroken stretches of highway is highway hypnosis. This type of unfocused concentration leads to many accidents in an otherwise unthreatening situation. Stay alert and try not to let your concentration fade. It happens sometimes, freeway emergencies. If a roadway is blocked by a stalled car or an object in one of the lanes, you'll have to steer around it. Watch what other drivers are doing ahead of you to avoid this and proceed with caution. Since you're traveling at high speeds on the freeway, there's increased danger in everything you do. Should you have to pull off to the shoulder of the freeway for any reason, say you have a blowout or you're out of gas, do so with extreme caution. First, signal. Check your mirrors and look over your right shoulder. When it's safe, ease your way over to the right shoulder of the freeway. When you stop, be sure your car is positioned in a way that it does not block traffic. You should then warn approaching traffic by turning on your hazard lights. If you have flares or other warning devices, use them with extreme caution. There are certain rules you need to follow for re-entering the freeway too. The first step is to turn on your signal. This will help alert traffic that you're attempting to re-enter the freeway. Begin accelerating while remaining on the shoulder until you are approximately the same speed as traffic to the left. Look for an adequate gap and blend into traffic while checking for hazards. Now, what about leaving the freeway? Leaving the freeway requires the same logic as when entering. As a driver, you should not require freeway traffic to adjust their speed to accommodate your leaving the freeway. You must maintain your rate of speed and then not slow down until you've entered the off-ramp. Deceleration or exit lanes are designed to allow drivers to reduce their speed before exiting without endangering traffic to the rear. Sometimes there are multiple deceleration lanes from which to exit, for example at interchanges. These will be clearly marked by road signs or pavement markings to help avoid merging conflicts. When you plan to exit the freeway, make sure to give yourself plenty of time. You should know the freeway exit you want as well as the one that comes before it. To exit safely, you should change lanes one at a time until you're in the proper lane for either a right-hand or left-hand exit from the freeway. Signal your intention to exit approximately 5 seconds before. Be sure you're at the proper speed. Check the posted limit for leaving the traffic lane. Not too fast so you don't lose control, not too slow so the flow of traffic can still move freely. Look ahead to see the shape of the off-ramp, as some of the off-ramps have extreme curves. If drivers miss their exit, they should not stop or back up on the freeway. Big no-no. The best method is simply to take the next exit and backtrack. All right, there are some special situations, like a timed entrance, metering. Lights control many freeway on-ramps. These lights usually allow one vehicle per green light. This is to prevent too many cars from getting onto the freeway at the same time, which in turn causes traffic jams. Double merge lanes. These are provided to give slower moving vehicles more time to get up to the speed of freeway traffic. Diamond entrance lanes. These lanes are designed to provide multi-passenger or carpool vehicles faster access to the freeway. They do not have to stop at the entrance lights. If you're the only person in the car, do not use these lanes.
Approaching a toll booth. If there is a toll booth ahead, a driver will be warned by distance ahead pavement markings and posted speed signs. He or she should slow down and be ready to stop. Usually, special lanes are designated for special vehicles, such as trucks, those with exact change and quick pay card scanning systems. Leave space to exit. When you plan to exit the freeway, make sure to give yourself plenty of time. You should know the freeway exit you want as well as the one that comes before it. To exit safely, you should change lanes one at a time until you are in the proper lane for either a right-hand or left-hand exit from the freeway. Signal your intention to exit approximately 5 seconds. Be sure you are at the proper speed for leaving the traffic lane, not too fast so you won't lose control, and not too slow so the flow of traffic can still move freely.